Hey everyone, welcome to MT Guitar. Today I want to show you how to sound good as fast as possible and what to do from there. Today I'm going to be showing you some pretty big things that can be kind of life-changing, because when we're learning, if we're not enjoying ourselves and sounding good, it makes things a lot more difficult. So the goal of this lesson is to get you to sound good as fast as possible. Slide 2 to 3. And then to point you in the direction of what do we do from there. If we're sounding good, but we know this is sort of a starter kit, find the higher notes. In terms of playing up the neck, playing along with the song or a chord progression, away from the open chords. Okay, we're playing some great notes, which I'm going to show you. What do we do from there, right? Well, the next part would be sort of understanding the key in a deeper level. But I want to get you sounding good right away, and we don't need to wait, okay? This is how I approached learning guitar from my teacher, my first teacher. He showed me these pentatonic scales, but more importantly, how to access them and how to think about them. All right, it's very important. So we're going to be covering a few essential concepts that I'm kind of surprised I haven't covered too much on this channel. Relative minor, huge topic that I think will be mind-blowing, even if you've been a sort of aware of it for a while. I think the way I'm going to lay it out will be helpful, I hope. And then I'm going to show you, okay, you're sounding good, you're playing the right notes, what do we do from there? So we're going to take 6 songs over the course of this lesson. So I recommend try this with me a couple times in a row, perhaps over the next coming days and weeks, where you pick up the guitar and play some of these songs with me. I'm going to be looping them. You can play along with the original recordings. The first one we're going to be doing is No Woman, No Cry, all right? So here's a good example. Here's an example of, I have, this song going on, and I don't really know what to do from there. I mean, I hear this beautiful solo in the famous live recording, and I don't really know the major pentatonic, for instance. Okay, no problem. I'm going to show you a couple tips. Let's say we have this song and we want to play around with it. We want to solo over it. We want to improvise over it. We want to play along with the recording or a loop and feel like we're not just shackled to this, one guitar part. Let's talk a little bit about how to do that, and then we'll get playing. So what key is this song in? All right, so step 1 is identify the key. No Woman, No Cry is in the key of C. If you didn't know that, there's methods of finding that out, including the starting chord is a good indication, but it's not always the correct way to do it. But in this case, it's true that the first chord is the key, which is C major. You can also just look it up. The internet will tell you it's in the key of C. Now, instead of going through from here, I just want to take us on a shortcut. So let's sound good as quick as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the key of C, root note, which is C, on the bass string, on the E string. All right, this is a good way to learn the fretboard. So E goes to F. We're going to go all the way till we get to C. F goes to G. Notice that E to F was a half step. Okay, 1 fret. The rest are whole steps here for a bit. F to G. G to A is a whole step. A to B is a whole step. B to C is a half step. Good to memorize that. So I know that here is the root or the tonic of the key of C. Now I'm going to go down 3 frets from here to 5th fret. You can also think of it as going from down a half step and then down a whole step. Let's talk about what that means later, but just for now, keep it as simple as possible. Just go down 3 frets literally and put your index finger on it and play position 1 of A minor pentatonic. Okay, even just doing that, and we'll talk about how to modify that in a sec, but that's going to be huge. So I'm going to loop No Woman, No Cry. I'm going to show you how that sounds correct and why, and then I'll show you what to do from there. Ready? 3, 4. So I'm at position 1 of A minor pentatonic. But you'll notice I'm really leaning on this note. So here is C, okay? Remember, key of C. but I thought I was playing A minor pentatonic. Well, these keys are relative. A minor and C major are intricately connected. They're identical key signatures, meaning they have the same 7 notes in their key. So if you know this A minor pentatonic scale because it's the first scale you learned, bravo, you're ready to sound good without thinking why. We'll talk about why in a bit, but for now, even feel free to pause the video and just put on No Woman No Cry and play the A minor pentatonic scale along with this song. And without knowing exactly why, if you don't, that's fine. Just know that you're sounding good. And if you want to lean on that C note, which is 5th fret 3rd string or 8th fret 6th string, that'll even help more, right? So here again is the chord progression, 3, 4. Just going up the scale. All right. Okay. Now, I'm leaning on the C, so it's probably a good time to talk about it. I'm actually playing C major pentatonic, but most people don't know that scale. So they know A minor pentatonic. So you start with just sounding good. Now that you're already sounding good and playing, in that order, let's start to understand what's happening. If you just start on the 2nd note of the scale, and by 2nd note, I just mean in order, it's the 2nd note that occurs, but it's actually the flat 3 of A minor. Don't worry about that. This isn't really a theory lesson right now. This is just sounding good. It's the next note in the scale after A. It's C, all right? That is the major pentatonic. If we start from that note, same scale. We end up getting 3 C's in there. But it's the same scale as this, and you can think of it like A minor pentatonic if that helps. Totally fine. It's relative, right? It's relative minor or relative major. All right, now the next thing to do to sound good is to have an extension. I might really have a blast doing this for a while, but at a certain point, I feel like, you know what? I feel like the same thing is happening as when I started this song. I'm a little bit shackled to 2 or 3 frets. Now, it's a lot of power in just staying in one area and really getting good at that area. So just by the way, don't feel like it's bad to ever stay in one area. It's actually really good for you. But let's say I want to move around. We know that melodic playing moves up and down the neck. So when I'm here, if this is C, let's call this a 1. It's a 1, right? It's the first note of the key. If I slide 2 to 3, yes, it's 7th to 9th fret, but try to think of it as I played a C, now the next note is D, that's a 2, I slide up to E, which is a 3. Now I'm in an extension. Now you may know this extension from A minor pentatonic. If I play A minor pentatonic, switching back to A minor for a sec, kind of get in that world, all the same notes, I can do this extension. Same move. It's a 7th fret to 9th fret slide. Happens to be different notes in the key of A minor, but it's the same letter notes, just different scale degrees. So you'll see that these scales are relative. If I play No Woman No Cry, I'm going to start using this extension. You can think of it as from A minor or C major. They're the same. They're the same notes. All right, 3, 4. Extension. Sounds like the solo, that similar note choice of what the solo from the live recording. And then be able to slide back. We're sounding good right away. Here is a C, that's a 1. Remember what I said about 2 to 3 slide? Sliding up 2 to 3 will force you into a new position, and then you can figure out where you are if you want. Okay? I'm not necessarily trying to teach you this shape, but sliding 2 to 3 is a good habit to do. Let's try it again. Slide 2 to 3. Yeah. Let's slide 2 to 3. Find the higher notes. I'm sounding good right away without thinking too much. I found the key of C. I moved down 3 frets to relative minor. I did a scale I knew about. I then made it relative major just by thinking of the C's in the scale. Then I had an extension, 2 to 3. We can do one more slide down if you want. Here's a C, 2 to 3 extension. So we're using some really big shortcuts, some really big, highways here. We want relative minor to accelerate us sounding good without thinking. We want 2 to 3 slide with relative major so that, again, we're just sounding good. All right, let's say you're doing this, and I'm going to show you a couple other songs, but what to do from here. The next thing you want to do is you want to understand the chord progression. All right, now to understand that is sort of a deeper level. You can just play these pentatonic scales throughout the whole song and you'll sound great. And you should spend a lot of time doing that. There's no need to rush ahead. But if I want to understand how to play over the different chords, I need to know the key. And the pentatonic just doesn't give us enough information. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that 6-string root on the E string, right, and find this C note. And I'm going to understand that this is a bar chord I can play here. This is called an E-shaped bar chord, right? If I played an E up 8 frets, I would have a C bar chord, but it's an E shape, all right? And hopefully you can see that. If I put a capo on the 8th fret and just played an E chord, it would be the E shape. Now that corresponds with a scale. And this is where you'd want to go from here. You'd want to play the entire C major scale, up and down. That's 8, 10, 7, 8, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10, 8, 10, 7, 8, with a 10th fret upper neighbor note back to 8. Go up and down, and then notice that you have 1 through 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. We notice that 3 to 4 is a half step. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7 to 1 is a half step. 7, 1. 1, 2, 3, half step to 4. 5, 6, 7, half step to 1. 2, 3, half step to 4. 5, 6, 7, half step to 1. Now this is the real way to understand the key of C, is to play the entire major scale. You can kind of see why we might want to start with the pentatonic, because we want to sound good and feel good first. The ear will get activated and excited before the mind, right? The mind is excited about intellectual pursuits, perhaps, but the ear is excited about music, and we need to just sound good and feel good and play good, okay? Then we can now understand the key. So if I have No Woman, No Cry, I'd want to do a Roman numeral analysis to move forward. You don't have to do this if you just want to hang out in the pentatonic world for a while, but here we go. 1, this is a G over B, so that's a 5 chord, right? C, D, E, F, G is a 5 chord. A minor is a 6 chord. C, D, E, F, G, A, 6. There's the relative minor, by the way, the A minor. F is the 4 chord, C, D, E, F. You can do the finger counting method if you want. You can also do it in the scale. So F. Now I want to find those root notes in this scale. So 1, 5, 6, 4. So now I'm going to play 1. Well, I found 1. That's pretty easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I found the 5 in the scale. This is actually a G note. Okay? It's the root note of this chord. Then the next one is a 6 chord, right? The A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a 6. Finally a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I found 1, 5, 6, 4. And then it goes 1, 4 to 1 to 5 to 1. That's a lot to remember, so this is why this is a little more advanced. But I can now play the scale and lean on those root notes when they come, and this way I'm breaking away from the pentatonic, which already sounds good, to try to understand the chord progression and the key in a deeper level. Here we go. Okay, now I want to do it on the next octave. 1, 6, 4. 1, 4, 2, but to 1. 1, it's 5, 6, 4. Okay, now I can combine the pentatonic and this scale to have two great things. If I want to do pentatonic here, I skip the 4 and 7. 1, 2, 3, skip the 4, 5, 6, skip the 7, 1. Now, what about relative minor? Well, the relative minor here is harder to see because we're not going down 3 frets, we're going up to the 6. So we're not even counting frets anymore, we're just going all the way till we get to the 6th note. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. This is position 2 of A minor pentatonic. Notice it's the same notes as C major pentatonic, but just starting on the 6th. So now I'm going to play mixing pentatonic and the scale. The whole scale. Now pentatonic. Here's A minor. Sounds fine to me. Back to position 1. Back to the scale. So that's the quickest way to sound good, and then what to do from there. Now, once you know where the 1, 5, 6, and 4 are, you can create arpeggios from that and riffs from that. Let's move on to the next song, which would be something like Landslide. And I'm just going to repeat the same process over this chord progression. 3, 2. 1, 5, 6, 5. Let me find a C note, 8th fret, go down 3 frets, A minor pentatonic. Make the next note in the scale the relative major, that's C, C major pentatonic automatically. Extension, 2 to 3 slide. 2 to 3 slide. Now, I have the whole major scale, and I identify the 1, 5, 6, 5, that's 1, 5, 6, 5, or the next octave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. Let's hear all that together. Here we go. A minor pentatonic. Extension. There's the melody. There's all pentatonic. Now the whole scale. Okay, 1, 5, 6, 5. Took my love, took it down. Climbed the mountain and I turned around. Saw my reflection in the stone-covered hills where the landslide brought me down. Kind of a tricky melody. I'm messing it up. Okay, so there's Landslide. Hallelujah. I know it's usually finger-picked. Just want to really drive this point home. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 2. Okay, so what's this progression? I know I'm only playing part of it, but there's 1 6, C to A minor twice, F is a 4 chord, G is 5, and then C is 6. Same thing. You don't really care, it's in the pentatonic scale, the melody. Let's do extension. It goes like this, the 4th, the 5th. Oh, I forgot that I didn't loop the whole song, sorry. But I'm sounding good right away. And now I can see in the scale all the chords, right? A lot of chords in there, F, G. I can see them all here as 4, F, G, 5. I'm going fast, but the point is that I'm trying to not rely on the theory too much. I'm trying to just show you the pentatonic scale, the minor pentatonic will work right away. What if I'm in the key of E? Let's try it in a different key. The best thing to do once you grasp an idea is to move on to other keys, other songs, other styles. How about My Sweet Lord George Harrison? A good E major song. How about My Sweet Lord George Harrison? Let's just stick on the E to C sharp minor for now. Because I don't really want to go too crazy on the whole song right now. It's a lot of different sections and stuff, but it's all pretty much an E major. And we're going to do the same process. Step 1, find an E root note on the 6th string. Well, you might say open, but we need to be able to go down 3 frets to do this method. So we're going to go all the way up to 12th fret, go down 3 frets, and we have automatic relative minor that works. It's the same exact scale as E major pentatonic, but it happens to be C sharp minor. By the way, that's the next chord of the song after E. So we know this is going to sound good. 3, 4. No doubt in anyone's mind. We make the next note of the scale the relative major, that's E major, and focus on those notes. Then we can have our extension, 2 to 3 slide. 2 to 3 slide. 3, 4. Then we would run our major scale from that E bass that you found initially, all 7 notes, and find the 1 and the 6. Well, there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Try to focus on that note as that chord comes around. 3, 4. 1, 6. Switch to pentatonic. Okay, so I think you get the idea. There's the key of E. There's other examples. Let's keep it to 4 songs. I think you can try it over any song. The idea is the same. You find the bass note on the 6th string, you go down 3 frets, you make it relative minor, you focus on the relative major as well, you move that up, an extension 2 to 3 slides, so you start playing melodically. Then you understand the 7 notes of the key, and that's where it gets a little crazy, all right? So that's where you can think more after you're already sounding good. That's my pitch for this lesson. Try it out over 100 songs. Try it out over as many songs as you can do. The more you play along with recordings and that feel like you're sounding good on it, the better chance you have of understanding theory. I'll put up kind of a brief study guide of this. I don't feel like I need to write too much down on this, but I'll write a little bit out as far as that method on the Patreon at patreon.com/mtguitar. Hope you enjoyed this lesson, kind of trying to get people to sound good and enjoy themselves right away, and then take that dive into understanding theory on a deeper level once you're already tickling your ears. All right? Go ahead and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Hitting the thumbs up as well helps. And I hope to see you next time, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Bye.